Did the NBA really just give Carmelo Anthony Player of the Week? We gotta talk about that. Plus, we gotta talk about why the media wants Giannis out of Milwaukee. We gotta talk about that. And not only that, we have a lot of games to go over from last night. And then we have to finish the day off with some updates about that winter tournament idea that the NBA sprung on us a few days ago. That's a look at what we gotta talk about today. But with that out of the way, pew! What is up, guys? It's me, Zachary. How y'all doing today? Hope you're having a fantastic day, no matter what part of the world you might be watching from. You guys coming in already know the drill. Go ahead and destroy that like button, as it does help the channel grow. But not only that, make sure that you are subscribed to the channel with post notifications turned on so you don't miss out on future videos. That's enough of my jibber jabber though. That's enough of my talking. Now let's get into everything that we gotta discuss today. Let's get it. Let's go. James Harden, 47.5 points per game last week. Luka Doncic, over 30 points per game last week, almost 40 points per game last week. Carmelo Anthony, 22.3 points, 7.7 rebounds, and 2.3 assists per game last week. And he's the one that gets Player of the Week. Now, we all get it. This is a welcome back prize for Carmelo Anthony. That's what the NBA is saying. You're like, you know what? You came back, and not only did you come back, you did pretty good. So here's your trophy, your award. You get Player of the Week. And some people are making a big deal out of this. They're offended that Carmelo Anthony could win Player of the Week when James Harden once again was averaging 47 points per game. And I can see why. I mean, if this was an award like MVP or anything serious, even Player of the Month, if it was Player of the Month, I'd be even a little more offended than I am right now. But we're talking about Player of the Week, people. Who cares? Literally, who cares? Tell me right now, how many Player of the Weeks has James Harden won in his career? You think these players, after their seasons are done, we're talking about accolades, are going to be talking about, you know what, in my career, back in my day, I won 200 Player of the Weeks? Nobody cares. They gave Melo a welcome back thing. It is what it is. It's a nice gesture from the league. It gives people something to talk about. But if you're really getting offended over this, calm down. I'm not quite sure if this would have been happening to any other player in any other situation. See, when people talk about players in small market teams, some people like to bring up LeBron James and the fact that he was in a small market team with the Cleveland Cavaliers. Well, the only reason that the media were so interested in LeBron James when he was in that small market team, Cleveland, was because that's his hometown team. That's a completely different story. That's a completely different story. But if you look at Giannis Antetokounmpo in the Milwaukee Bucks, that's not his hometown team. Giannis didn't grow up in Milwaukee. Giannis didn't do any. Giannis had never been to Milwaukee till he was drafted there. And Milwaukee is a team that doesn't get coverage in the NBA. They don't. It hasn't happened. It hasn't happened. And now, yes, you look at it this year, they have a lot of televised games. They have a heck of a lot of televised games. Why? Because they have Giannis Antetokounmpo, and this is a team that could very well be making the NBA Finals this year. So, of course, the league's going to want to make sure that the average person watching, by the time June comes and the Finals comes and they see a team like Milwaukee, aren't completely surprised, like, who the heck is this? I didn't even know Milwaukee had a team. So, yeah, they're going to be televised a lot. They're televised this year even more than they were last year because that's how strongly people believe that they could go all of the way, especially without Kawhi Leonard in the East. And speaking of Kawhi Leonard not being in the East, Toronto, yet being a team representing an entire country, rarely ever got nationally televised games, even during a time in which they were constantly making the Eastern Conference Finals. Yet last year, they get Kawhi Leonard, they get televised games out the wazoo, of course, because they have Kawhi Leonard once again. Now you gotta get people used to seeing the Toronto Raptors, so put them on national TV. This year, they lose Kawhi. Once again, boom. They're not getting any nationally televised games. Realistically, if you look at the Milwaukee Bucks, it feels like they have 0% chance of keeping Giannis Antetokounmpo. Unless they win the next 2 championships in a row. If that happens, then hey, who knows what's up. But if the Milwaukee Bucks, at the very least, this year do not make the NBA Finals, entering into what will be the final year of Antetokounmpo's contract, and with all of the media talk that's already starting to generate about him possibly going to a team like the Golden State Warriors, this new article like that every week, another one just came out today. That buzz is gonna start to grow louder and louder and louder and louder, just like it did with Anthony Davis. And that's sad for the NBA because it's clear that the NBA really wants the Pelicans to be a good team with all of the things that have been happening for the Pelicans ever since Chris Paul, really. I mean, and let's be honest, there's money in New Orleans. There's a lot of money in New Orleans. I'm talking about the food. It's a tourist destination. It got a Mardi Gras. It got all that stuff. There's a lot of people. Of course, the NBA would like the Pelicans to become a bigger market, but it just hasn't worked out. I mean, they give them Anthony Davis even when they didn't have the best shot of getting Anthony Davis, and now they have to get rid of Anthony Davis, and all of a sudden they get Zion Williamson when they were the 7th best chance, only had a 6% chance of getting Zion Williamson. I ain't trying to say nothing, but like I said, for the Bucks, it really feels like they're fighting an extremely tough uphill battle against not only every other team in the NBA for an NBA championship, but also against the media to try and hope and pray that Giannis does stay in Milwaukee. Because just think about this. The NBA also always needs a guy to hate. It always happens. They always need a guy or a team to hate. And after all of the things that Giannis has said about not wanting to leave Milwaukee, if he leaves Milwaukee, we just got our next guy to hate. Right, the final thing that we gotta talk about today is the possibility of the NBA giving an extra draft pick to the team that wins the winter tournament. The idea that's been tossed around for the past week or so now, but we're gonna talk about that. But first, we do really quickly have to go over the games that went down last night. And the first game that we gotta talk about, might as well get this one out of the way, was the Milwaukee Bucks. Well, actually, hold on, let me phrase that. It was the New York Knicks not even existing, not even throwing a pebble, not even caring that they were getting trashed against the Milwaukee Bucks. 132-88 the final score. Yo, this game was over 5 minutes into the first quarter when Chris Middleton looked at the Bucks bench and smiled before throwing it down. No one was worried about losing this game. The Phoenix Suns beat the Charlotte Hornets. I actually was watching this up until the final 90-ish seconds of the game. I turned it off. I was like, oh, this game's over. The Suns are down by 7. Woke up this morning and I thought my eyes were deceiving me. 109-104 the final score. Apparently, Kelly Oubre Jr. came up clutch with a pair of threes in the final minute for the Suns in this one. 23 points for Oubre on the night as he continues to have his impressive season. This was another game that I turned off a bit early for different reasons though, because it appeared that this was just about to be another blowout for the Utah Jazz. The third quarter was going and still nothing was really happening. The Jazz were still down big, and I was like, all right, yeah, this one's over. They just got blown up by the Raptors last night. Just a couple of tough road losses for the Jazz. Checked the next morning, and it actually turned out to be a closer game than I thought. 103-94 the final score. The Jazz just came up a bit short in their almost epic comeback. There are signs of life in Chicago, people. Signs of life with the Bulls beating the Kings. 113-106 the final score. Zach LaVine and Lauri Markkanen doing more of what we thought we were going to see more of at the start of the season. LaVine, 28 points, and Markkanen getting it going with 20. And the Kings, they're going to be a lot better in the second half of the season once they're healthy, but for now, they're doing a good job of just staying afloat in the Western Conference. The Indiana Pacers, every time they have a game, I tell you guys how much I love watching this team play. They play some great, unselfish team basketball. Everybody getting involved just as it was last night. 117-104, they beat the Memphis Grizzlies. 7 players in double digits for Indiana. Sabonis, 18 points, 14 rebounds, and 8 assists. And if he is not an all-star this year, I will go berserk. And lastly, for the segment, the Hawks pummeling the Warriors in the battle of who's going to get the better draft pick. Trae Young, 24 points and 9 assists. And yeah, I don't blame you for sitting out this game with quote-unquote ankle problems either, Draymond Green. Now though, for the final thing that we gotta talk about today, we gotta talk about an update that was given by the NBA to us about the possibility of the winter tournament idea that was been discussed for about the past week now. Okay, so I guess maybe I was the only one who liked the idea, because I saw a lot of people in the comments and a lot of people on the internet after I said that I liked the idea of a winter tournament who were basically talking down on it, calling it stupid and yada yada yada. Well, maybe this was in response to that, as the NBA said that the possibility of a team earning an extra pick in the draft for winning the winter tournament is up for discussion as well. All elements of the NBA's potential midseason tournament remain in the discussion phase. The one idea proposed to incentivize teams to embrace the new competition is furnishing the tournament winner with an extra draft pick. Any such measure would have to be ratified by league vote, but the league's searching for new ways on top of bonus compensation for players and coaches who do well in the tournament to make teams eager to participate. A first round pick would certainly help. So it sounds like they hit all of the bases there. Not only now would the actual organizations have a reason to participate because they'd want that extra draft pick, but it sounds like they're coming up with ways to give players and coaches a reason to try too and be like, hey, maybe we should take this thing a little seriously. It might not sound like the NBA championship, might not sound like hoisting up a trophy or a banner or whatever in June, but it sounds kind of nice. And our team could use that extra draft pick. But that holds up a whole nother host of questions, like, how is that draft pick going to be decided? Going to be like 31 picks in the first round, 61 people get selected in the draft over. It's like a lot of questions pop up around that whole idea of giving a team another draft pick, especially if we're talking about a lottery pick, because if it's a lottery pick, some teams might take this really seriously, a bit too seriously if you were to ask me. Curious to know what you guys think about that and everything else that we talked about down in the comment section below today, though. Let me know what you think about Carmelo winning player of the week. Were you one of the people getting super upset about a guy winning player of the week? Also, let me know what you think about the media possibly wanting Giannis out of Milwaukee. Do you think that's a thing? Do you think it's real? Let me know anything down in the comment section below. But other than that, thank you so much for watching. You guys already know that you are the real MVPs. One more time, real quick before you go, first off, make sure that you did smack that like button, but not only that, make sure that you hit that sub button too and the bell so you don't miss out on more videos like this 5 days a week. It's Tuesday, meaning that I'll see you right back here tomorrow, Wednesday, for another video. But until then, keep getting the buckets, Team SDC, and I'm out of here. Peace!